everyone, who would like to see my day-to-day skincare and makeup routine? Let's go! Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all of your support so far with my videos and the shorts that I have done. I'm still in the very early stages of my channel, but today I thought I would do a skincare and makeup routine. My day-to-day, what I do most days. I'm not a huge makeup wearer. A lot of the products that I use are products that I have used for years and years and years. There are some products that I've changed up, some products that I like equally but I'm not using at the moment, so I'll go through all of that as well. But happy Saturday to you all. I hope everybody had a good week. I hope everyone is well, and let's get into it. So I will start off with my skincare. Now, the first product that I'm going to talk about is my micellar water. So I have had a love-hate relationship with cleansers, so gel cleansers, oil cleansers, foaming cleansers, actually washing my face. I prefer something like this. So at the moment I'm using the Bioderma micellar water. Now, I've seen this all over the internet, and I must say that this is the first bottle that I have used. I normally, and have for years and years, used the Garnier micellar water, the pink one, and I love it. It does what it needs to do. I've never had a reaction to it. I've always found it to be very good, but I was curious. Now, this one is more expensive than the Garnier, but I wanted to give it a go, and so far so good. So as I say, I'm only a week in. I think this bottle was like $15.99, so it is more expensive than the Garnier, but considering I do this twice a day, so morning and night, that's a week's worth, so that should last me a good amount of time, hopefully. But I've only got good things to say. I find that it dries a lot quicker than the Garnier one, so that then I can put the next step of my skincare on. So I'd give this a thumbs up at the moment, but I really do like to remove any makeup, sunscreen, dirt that I've acquired throughout the day, any pollution from being in London, with micellar water. As I say, I have tried lots of different cleansers, and I always just keep coming back to the micellar. Now, some people might think that that's not really washing your face properly, but it's what works for you. I do wash my face with a cleanser every now and again. If I have a breakout, I will do that, but I do then follow this with a toning step, which I'm going to get onto next. I will just say, we're going to keep it real here at Queen Bond. I've done some skincare this morning from here to here and here to here, avoiding my eyes. You may see that I have some little marks under my eyes at the moment. That is because I had my first polynucleotide treatment this morning. That is something that I can do with videos in the future if you would like to see how I get on with that. It was my first treatment this morning. I then have another treatment in 2 weeks, and then another one in 2 weeks after that, and then it will just be about maintenance, maybe every 6 to 9 months. But I feel like I really suffer from dark under eyes. I have tried every eye cream, from the cheapest supermarket eye creams all the way up to the expensive eye creams and everything in between, and I haven't found one that actually has targeted those dark circles. So I thought, what am I going to do? Let's go for the polynucleotides. I've thought about it for a long time, and I thought, let's just go for it. And we've done that. So I have been warned that I might get some bruising over the next couple of days, but you know, that will go. And in the long term, if that's going to brighten up my under eye area, I'm all for that. So I do apologise for the speckly under eyes, but as I say, we'll keep it real, and that's what we've been doing. So that is my micellar water. Now, I've always followed that with a toner. Now, again, I've tried lots of different toners. I have, for context, combination to oily skin. It's the classic oily T-zone, you know, the hormonal breakouts, things like that. But on the whole, my skin is normally quite clear. Now, I have used Medicate's Press and Glow, Press and Clear. I do really, really like those. But I have been influenced by everybody online with these Medicube pore pads. Now, this is going to be my first empty of 2026, because I have one pad left in here, which I will use this evening. There's 70 pads in here, so I think I paid on Amazon £13. Now, I keep them in my wish list all the time because the prices on Amazon do go up and down, but I paid £13 for these, and I have to say they have been fantastic. I can have sensitive skin at times, so I do have to be careful. I have been adding in more actives and things like that into my skincare routine. You know, again, for context, I am 42, so, you know, my skin is changing, my skin is aging. You know, I keep it realistic. I know that we're not going to turn back time, but anything that I can use that will help my skin and keep it plump and keep it hydrated, I will use. In the same time, I'm trying to make sure that I'm not making it extra oily. But these have been fantastic. They have two sides to them, so a more rough exfoliating side on one, which you do first, and then a smoother side on the other, which you then pass over your face. And they've been great. So like I say, I'll use the last one tonight. I already have the next pot waiting in the wings for me to use. But so far so good with these, and I feel like I can give a good review after using them morning and night for a month. So I would recommend those to you. I do have Max here again helping me behind the scenes, taking these products off me. Again, Max from Max's Adventures, very different channels, but he's helping me with this a lot. So thank you very much, Max. Right, going on to eye products. So once I've used those, I'll use an eye makeup remover. So nothing fancy here. This is the Nivea Extra Gentle Eye Makeup Remover. Now this is the one that isn't the 2 layers. Now you can get one which has got the liquid and the oil. I've tried that. I don't like that. But this I have used for years and years and years. My husband and I went on holiday to Hurghada, and it was actually the year that I fell pregnant with Max. So I remember it was, well, it will be coming up to 11 years ago in April. And I'd forgotten to bring my eye makeup remover, so I just grabbed something out of the pharmacy. It was this one. I hadn't used it before. I think prior to that I'd been using the Liz Earle Eye Bright, which again was really good, but I've never gone back after this. It's cheap and cheerful, does what it says, removes all of your eye makeup. I would highly recommend. So that is what I would do next, is remove my eye makeup. Then on to eye creams. So obviously we will see how the polynucleotides go. I'm hoping that I won't have to use eye creams, or if I do, it will just be for moisturisation rather than targeting the dark circles. But the one that I have been using lately is from the Inkey List, and it's the Caffeine Eye Cream. Now again, it says helps reduce the appearance of tired eyes. I think it does that. It doesn't, you know, get rid of dark circles. I think it probably hydrates. I'm lucky that I don't have too many fine lines around my eyes at the moment. I'm sure that will be coming. But for me, I've just found this has been really good. It's cheap and cheerful again, but I find that it works for what I've wanted it to. I have tried vitamin C eye creams. I have tried potent eye creams with lots of actives and things in them. But like I say, I don't think that they work for me. So if you're looking for a bit of hydration and just for your eyes to look a little bit more awake, I would highly recommend this one. So after that, I go in with my vitamin C. So I have been using vitamin C, I would say, probably consistently for the last 3 or 4 months. I watch all of the influencers. I watch all of the videos about the skincare and the layering and the steps. Now, I didn't want to have a 15-step skincare routine because I don't have the time to do it. You know, in the evenings I have a little bit more time to dedicate, but in the mornings I'm normally getting up, doing the school run, getting back home for work. So I don't have, you know, hours and hours to do this. But before trying this one, which is the C Tetra Advanced Medicate, this is like a gel serum. I did try their C Tetra in the dropper, so the more oily one. That didn't work for me. I found that all of my other skincare peeled. I didn't like the oily feeling because I do have combination skin, but this has been fantastic. Now, it isn't cheap. It isn't, and I have looked into cheaper alternatives, but in my mind, I'm thinking if something works and I really like it, then I'm willing to spend more on things like this because I am saving on things like the micellar water rather than spending money on very expensive cleansers and things like the Nivea eye cream. So I'm prepared to splurge when it comes to this. I know that there are others, like the Naturium do a really good one. I know that SkinCeuticals did the original, you know, the vitamin C, but that is even more expensive than this one. And having looked at them and compared them online, I don't think it warrants that price. And I believe it was the Ferulic was it the ferulic vitamin C? I think it was that element of it that SkinCeuticals actually had the patent on. They were only able to use it in their vitamin C, whereas now that has run out, so other brands are being able to use that. I'm not sure, I don't think this actually has that in it, but this is fantastic. So I would highly recommend, if you don't want a really greasy vitamin C, but you want something that is going to brighten up your face, this one here. So after that, sometimes I use moisturiser, sometimes I don't. So now that I'm consistent with using a sunscreen every morning, I don't always use the moisturiser. Obviously in this weather, you're cold, you're getting drier, but I do have that combination skin, so I want to try and balance that as much as I can. But if I am going to use a moisturiser, I've got this teeny tiny little sample to show you. I do have the full size that I've bought from Medik8 upstairs, but they sent it with this sample, so I thought I might as well use that first. It is the new Advanced Pro Collagen Plus Peptide Cream, and it says rejuvenating anti-wrinkle moisturiser with GF Mini Protein and NAD Plus Boost. That's a lot of scientific jargon, but what I will say is it is a very, very good moisturiser. I trust Medik8. I love the Medik8 products. Apart from the oily C Tetra Vitamin C, there isn't a Medik8 product that I've not liked. Again, yes, they are on the pricier side compared to High Street, but I think they're well priced for what you get, and this has been brilliant. It doesn't make my skin greasy, it absorbs really nicely, it pairs nicely with everything else. The worst thing is when everything peels and starts to peel off, and I hate that. But with all of this all layers very, very well. So far so good with this one. Like I say, I do have the full size waiting in the wings for when I do finish this. More on the expensive side, but again, I really do think it's worth investing in the skincare products that work for you. So I spend less on certain products and I spend more on others. But yeah, I'm really liking this one. And then as a last step, every day, every morning, without fail. This is not something that I have done in the years leading up to my 40s. It probably is something that I should have done. Sunscreen. I think, and if you don't use anything else in that range, you need a sunscreen, whether it be a high end, a low end, a mid range, a sunscreen, a really good sunscreen. Now, I have had a love-hate relationship with these over the years, and I think that is why I've never been consistent with them until I tried this. And again, I do my research, I watch the influencers. I know that you do have to take things with a pinch of salt, but you know, skincare speaks for itself, sunscreen speaks for itself. That is what's going to age you quicker than anything else. So I use this one, which is the SkinCeuticals Advanced Brightening UV Defense Sunscreen. And it's a broad spectrum SPF 50, high protection UVA, and it says reduces visible discoloration, tested post-procedure. Now this is a lotion. I love this, like love it. Like I say, I've tried all different various sunscreens and I find them to leave a white cast. I find them to be greasy. I find that makeup and stuff doesn't go well on top of them. I just don't like them, which is why I haven't used them consistently. But this has been an absolute game changer for my skin. It's like a nice light lotion, and the reason I said that I don't use my moisturiser every day is because sometimes I find after my vitamin C, this is enough. It's absolutely fantastic. It's on the more expensive side, but again, I'm using it every single day, so it's worth the money for me. Yeah, I can't recommend this highly enough. I do have another one waiting in the wings. I like to have backup products, especially of those that I know that I'm going to continue using, and this will soon be another empty of 2026. So that is my morning skincare routine. I will at some point do the evening. That's not as involved. I find this routine works for me really, really well. Like I said, there are so many people influencing you to buy products from different brands. It's everywhere. It's all over your feeds. It's, you know, every time you look on YouTube, every time you look on Facebook, it's all over the internet. This is the best, this is the best, this is the best. But what is the best is what is best for your skin. You know, that works for me, that might not work for somebody else. Some of those products you may love, but for your skin, you might not like some of them. But this is what I use. It is a routine that I find to be consistent. Again, keeping it real, Please don't think that that keeps my skin blemish free, rosacea free. It doesn't. My skin is sensitive. You know, if I go out in the wind and the cold, I will come in and I will be bright red. I get breakouts, and I've had a breakout all sort of around my chin lately. It's hormones, you know, like I say, I'm 42. I'm a woman of a certain age. So the hormones, you know, don't help with that. And I think a lot of the time, you know, we chase those products that are going to stop the breakouts. You know, you're never going to get another blemish. You're never going to get another spot. You're never going to get discoloration. But the reality of it is we all have spots. We all suffer from things like this. And I do think a lot of it is internal. It's hormone related, and nothing is going to cure it as such. I know that you can get antibiotic creams and things like that. I don't need those at the moment. I never have, but I know some people do use them effectively. But for me, you know, I know that these products aren't miracle workers. I just want them to work as well as they can for my skin. And I deal with the breakouts and things as they come, and we just kind of get through it. One of my favourite things that I've started using probably over the last 8 to 9 months are pimple patches. Now that is a whole nother video because there are so many different ones, but I really like those. I'm really trying to drink more water and things like that. So hopefully that will keep any breakouts to a minimum, but I rate that skincare routine a 10 out of 10 for me. I hope if you would like to try any of those products, it works for you too. So now we will move on to my minimal makeup. As I say, I'm not a huge makeup girl. Over the years, I have learnt that I'm not a liquid foundation person. I don't like things like that. Creamy foundations, powder, you know, anything heavy. I just don't like that, and I find that it clogs my skin. So the routine that I have at the moment is quite minimal. You know, it keeps me looking quite natural, but I feel like I've done something to put myself together. So the first thing I do after my skincare is all soaked in is primer. Now the one that I am using, and I think this is my second big bottle of this, is the Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Primer. So I just really like this. It's a gel consistency. It soaks into my skin really well. I think it mattifies really well. Again, I'm going to be honest, it doesn't keep my skin matte for 5 hours, 10 hours, 16 hours, 24 hours. It doesn't. The oils break through, but I find that this is really good. It doesn't clog my pores. I enjoy using it. It feels nice on my skin, and it's just that layer before you put anything else on to kind of mattify it as much as you can. For me, that works because I don't want something that's going to make me look glowy, because glowy for me with skincare is shiny, and I don't want that. I add the glow with products later. But I can highly recommend this. I have used many other primers over the years, and if you would like to see a dedicated video on any of these things, for me to go into more detail of things that I have used and maybe haven't enjoyed as much, please do let me know. So that is my primer. That's my first step. Then I will go in with my concealer. Now, I've always been a liquid concealer girl, and I was an Estee Lauder Double Wear liquid concealer girl up until maybe Christmas time, when I was influenced again with the Kosas. The Kosas, and it has a name, I think. Do you know what? It doesn't actually say on here, but you will all probably know it from seeing it. They do lots of different ones. I am the shade 0.7C in this one. It's really, really good. I don't put concealer under my eyes because I find that they do go cakey. This was an exception to the rule. I have used this, and actually it was absolutely fine. I really like the consistency of it. I like the coverage of it, and I do still use it. Oh, here we go. The Revealer concealer, super creamy and brightening concealer. That's it, the Revealer one. I do really, really like it. However, since I've had my breakout on my chin, I have gone to a more hardy product, and that is the NARS. So we've got the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer in Chantilly is the shade that I use, and this is a cream. Now, probably everybody knows about this concealer. It has cult followings, everybody recommends it, and I find that it is absolutely amazing. It sits well under the powder that I'm going to show you. It's just absolutely brilliant, and it really does cover the blemishes, I think, much better than a liquid concealer. But I would rate these both very highly. They're both in my makeup bag at the moment. Yeah, and it's Chantilly is the one that I use for my skin tone. So they are my concealers. After that, now this is a product, you can see how well used this is. I have Hit Pan on this one here. Now I use this Studio Fix by MAC, and it is in, I think it's N4, and it's the Powder Plus foundation. Now it does come with a sponge, which you can see has never been used. I use this with a big fluffy brush, and I just find that this gives the amount of coverage that I would like, light coverage, just to kind of even out my face without looking cakey, like if I were to try and put liquid foundation on. This has been a staple in my makeup bag for years and years and years. I absolutely love it. I have come away from it to try the Christian Dior powder foundation and also the Hourglass. Now I've got nothing bad to say about those, but I did end up actually gifting them after a couple of uses because it just didn't have the edge that this one does. This is my ride or die product, so I would recommend that to everybody. Now after that, I'm going to ask Max for his help, because in my makeup bag, which is sitting over there, I forgot to get out my pressed powder, which I use after that. So I'm just wondering if Max can grab that for me. It is a powder compact, Max, in a gold compact. Can you see that? Sorry about this. Here we are. Here we go. Again, we keep it real here. There it is. Thank you. So again, I have tried lots and lots of different powders. Now, very powdery powders that make you look very powdered. And I don't like that look either. I like to look glowy. See, I can contradict myself all the time. I like to look glowy but not shiny and greasy. But I think for the base, I like to mattify as much as I can and then add products after. So this is the Airbrush Flawless Finish powder. I use the shade 1 from Charlotte Tilbury, and I just pop that on with a brush after my MAC, and I love it. That's the one that I keep going back to. I have tried the loose powders, and I did for a while like the Laura Mercier translucent powder, but it is quite messy. It does go everywhere. When you're traveling, it isn't the best. So for me, I find that one to be amazing. So once I have put that on, I will go to my eyes. Now, my eyes, I have a love-hate relationship with eyeshadows. I buy them, I have them, I've spent a lot of money on them over the years, but I don't really use them. It's definitely not something that I use every day. If I'm going out for a special evening, I might put eyeshadow on, or if I'm on a holiday, but it's not a guarantee. So I'm not going to show you the eyeshadows that I currently have at the moment. If you would like to see them, then I can do a video on those as well and go into that. But as they're not part of my day-to-day, I've left them out of this video to try and keep it as short as I possibly can. So the next stage would be mascara. Now, I've tried lots of eyelash curlers over the years. These have been absolutely fantastic, and they're by a company called Surratt. They were recommended to me, and for good reason, because they are absolutely fabulous. They're still actually in very good condition. The black hasn't chipped off or, you know, anything like that. But I will curl my eyelashes before putting on my mascara. Now, mascara is something I have used many different mascaras over the years. Ones that I've liked, ones that I haven't liked. Now, my favourites over the years have been Benefit's Bad Gal Bang. Really like that one. It's very black, it's very bold. I really like that from a mascara. The only thing that I find with that one, it is very tricky to get off. Once it's on there, it stays on there. Not that that's a bad thing, and I would use it again, absolutely. But I've moved on to other things. I liked the Volume de Chanel, and I used that for years, and I found that to be really good. The only thing with that one, I do tend to have quite oily eyelids, so I do powder them as well in the morning. So I would find that I would get transfer a lot with that one, and that one did really annoy me a little bit. As a mascara, it was fabulous, but it did transfer, and I did use it for quite some time, but I thought, right, we're still on the hunt for that one that gives all of that but doesn't transfer. Then I was given a sample when we were in America, in Ulta actually, in California, as a birthday gift, a mini version of the Tarte Man-Eater. Now again, fabulous. I absolutely loved that mascara and would use it absolutely again. All of these that I would. But again, we got the transfer. So I was still on the search for the perfect mascara, and I was influenced. Now this is the little Diddy travel one, the Ilia Limitless Lash Mascara. All of the mascaras that I've used are in the blackest of black. I love a black mascara. And again, I bought the small one first to see if I liked it, and I have continued to buy the small one. Why, you ask me? Because I really like the little brush. So the brush on this mascara has a thicker side and then more of a comb on the other side. Now, when I picked up the full size one, the brush is the same, but it's slightly bigger, and I find that to get into all of the eyelashes, I still prefer this. So I buy the travel sizes, which is absolutely fine. It's the same mascara, it works for me, cannot recommend enough. So once I've done that, I will then go on to glow. So glowing up the matte base. So I use the Rodial liquid blush drops. Now I use the Frosted Pink, and I am being very careful of how I hold it. So as a product, it is amazing. Now again, I'm not a powder blush kind of girl because I don't like that, you know, very blushed look, because I can be quite red at times. But you just want something, and I like the fact with the liquid products that they give you a little bit of a sheen as well as colour. Now I love this colour, it works really well for me. I blend it in with a brush. The only thing I'm going to say is it leaks. I don't know if you can see this here, but it goes all over the dropper, it comes all the way down the side. When you put the lid on, it leaks out of here. So I'm constantly cleaning it up with cotton buds, with tissue, and in the process I'm losing lots of product. That is the only thing that I would say to Rodial about this, because the product itself is absolutely amazing. And I do also have the sunshade, I'm not sure what that's called, but for the summer, it just gives that little bronzed look, because I am pale, so I have to be very careful with the colour that I'm putting on my face. But I absolutely love these. So if they could do something with the dropper, it would be a 10 out of 10. I mean, I'd still give it 9.5 because I love the product, but they are my blush drops. So once I've used those, I don't always use this now, but you can see that I have used it, and I mean I've had numerous bottles of this over the years. Once that's on, sometimes if I want a tiny little bit of extra highlight, I will use this, which is the Chanel Le Beige Sheer Healthy Glow Highlight Fluid, and it's in the Pearly Glow. Now again, I have had the Sunkissed Glow, I've got the Rosy Glow, I think it is as well. This is just the perfect highlighter, so it comes out in a pump and it just gives that little bit of extra sheen. Like I say, day to day now, I probably don't use it as much as I used to because of the blush drops, and I find that they give me enough of a sheen. But before I discovered the blush drops, this was what I used every single day, and I will continue to keep it in my makeup bag until the end of time, because to me this is the best highlighter without looking glittery or shimmery on the market. So once I've done that, I like to pop a powder something over the top, just to seal it all in. And I love these Hourglass Ambient powders. Now this one here, I have used 9 months maybe, probably coming up to a year, and it doesn't look like I've even used it. There is so much product in here. So yes, again, these are not the cheapest. I think for the full size they're about £54–56, but this is literally going to last you years and years and years. Now this particular colour is diffused light. I have had dim light, I've had other versions of them, but for a day-to-day I find that this one works really, really well for me. I just pop it all over with a fluffy brush, and I find that it just seals everything in nicely. So once I've done that, I go on to my setting spray. Now again, I've tried lots and lots of setting sprays. Now you can see that this is well used, and this has been refilled many times. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. I've tried lots of them that really make your makeup stick, but they will feel sticky. I've tried glowy ones, I've tried mattifying ones, you know, but I come back to this one. I thought that all of my prayers had been answered for my combination T-zone when they released the matte version of this. So of course I was straight out to buy the matte version. I didn't actually find that it worked as well as this one for my skin. I love this. Again, in my makeup bag, I like to keep this size. This is really good for taking on holiday. So what I do is I buy the jumbo size whenever I'm buying these things. And a lot of these makeup products, I look for discount codes online. I love Look Fantastic. I love Sephora online. I love Cult Beauty, Space NK, websites like that where you can get these products normally with some kind of discount. They're always running discounts, promotions, because if I can save money, that's what I'm going to do. But I buy the jumbo one, which I think is better value for money, and then I just keep refilling this one and popping it in my makeup bag. So now on to lips. Now I have very, very, very dry lips. It's something that I have always suffered with, chapped lips. Again, I've tried everything from just Vaseline all the way up to Creme de la Mer lip balm, which I have to say is very good. But on a day-to-day basis, at night and in the morning, I will either use my Laneige lip sleeping mask. Now this one is in cotton candy. I love this one. I love the smell. It's really lovely. Or the Lawless Forget the Filler Overnight Lip Plumping Mask. And it doesn't need to be a sleeping mask or an overnight mask. I use these in the morning as well before I go out. And obviously I keep my lip balms and stuff in my handbag for if I'm out and about. But both of these I absolutely love. Now the Lawless Forget the Filler is Sweet Dreams. It's just literally a pinky rosy colour. And you can see that this one is cotton candy because it's swirled like cotton candy. You know, they do them in so many different flavours and colours and things now, but I find that these are fabulous. So I put one of those on and then off I go. Now I do have lots of other lip products that I would use when I'm out and about. Again, if you would like to hear about those, I can go into those. But that's just I would like to say quick, but I think this video has gone on longer than I anticipated. But that is a quick skincare and makeup day-to-day routine for me. For a mum of one, 42 years old, you know, Monday to Friday, I do the school run, I work from home. You know, weekends we're off doing lots of different things. And as I say, on special occasions, you know, I might break out a skin tint or an eyeshadow, but very, very, very rarely. So what you see here are the real, true products that I use. And I hope that that's been useful. I know that I love watching videos on skincare and beauty and makeup and getting recommendations. I also know that I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, being influenced by products because they're popular and they're the top this and the top that, and they don't work for me at all. I am now in a place where I feel like all of these products work really well for me. I know I mentioned the polynucleotides. Now, I am very, very open to aesthetic treatments, very open. At the same time, you know, I like to try and keep myself as natural as I can. Now, I have had Botox a couple of times over the years. I had a bad experience the first time I had it done, which again I can go into if anybody would like to hear about that. It was absolutely no fault of the practitioner at all, it's just my anatomy. But then the second time I had it done maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I plucked up the courage to go back and I had that done. But it's not something that I regularly do. I haven't had fillers or anything like that, but we'll see how the polynucleotides go. If you'd like to know how that goes as I have those next 2 treatments, please do let me know. I'm hoping for miracles, and that I can ditch all the eye creams once and for all, but I shall let you know. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it has been helpful. Thank you again so much for all of your support. I really, really do appreciate each and every one of you, and as this channel hopefully continues to grow, I hope more and more people will join us on the journey. So have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will speak to you again soon. Thank you. Bye.